Greetings, WordPressers. Jakson here. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Nice to have you. So, hosting. Quite a lot to choose from these days. What type do you need? Cloud hosting, VPS, shared, managed? Once you made that decision, then you've got to wade through these zillion of different platforms there are out there. Well, thankfully, after 15, 16 plus years in web development, I've tested pretty much every hosting platform there is out there, and I can defo point you in the right direction. But this video is not about what's my favorite host and my recommendations. I do have a favorite host, obviously. Rather, it's a scenario I encountered about a particular scenario, a situation that happened that none of the hosting top tier providers could have handled, unless of course you're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, thousands and thousands per year. So let me tell you what happened. So I've got a client site with like almost no traffic, like I don't know, like 100 visits a day, literally. But then it gets these huge traffic spikes, like literally 30 or 40,000 visitors per day, just a few times per year, once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Of course, I've got the client on Cloudways hosting, which by the way is my favorite hosting. And I want to say thank you to Cloudways for sponsoring this video. It's nice when you get approached by some of your favorite tools and services for sponsored vids. It's always a straight yes when you truly believe in the product and you use it every day. No brainer. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about going from that 100 odd visits a day, if that, to 30,000. And of course, I didn't know about these spikes or these promos at all. And you guessed it, the site absolutely nosedived when thousands of people jumped on it all at the same time. Any host, regular medium tier of the top, of the top WordPress hosts, none of them cope with that. Of course, unless you subscribe to like a multiple £100 server that's on all the time 365, and then you're paying that big bucks. So we have a problem. Client doesn't want to pay 10 grand a year. We just need that fat service, that fat server, half a dozen, 10 times per year. So to the rescue comes a reasonably new service from Cloudways called Cloudways Autonomous. And it turns out it's exactly what we were looking for. So what the heck is autonomous? Well, the short answer is it's a hosting service that scales automatically in real time based on the visitors and traffic the website is receiving, and only does it when it needs to. It's all automated, and so your site never goes down. You pay a flat monthly fee and then just pay for the additional resources you need only when you need them. And here's the kicker. It costs a fraction of having one of those big fat servers online 24/7, 365, a fraction. Win, win, win. And here's another win. It is like falling off a log, easy to set up. You got 4 yeses, Cloudways Autonomous. Right then, so I'm going to take you for a quick spin now and show you just how easy it is to set up Cloudways Autonomous. Easy, automated, scalable, managed WordPress. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So let's get into this. If you've got a Cloudways account already, you'll be familiar with this. If not, then use that freebie sign up and you'll have a dashboard very similar to this. And this is what we're interested in, autonomous apps. Let's click get started. Bit of spiel there. And we've got to choose a plan. We're going to get cracking with a 35 quid a month plan 1. Now, to be honest, this is ridiculously cheap anyway, just if it didn't have this autonomous feature. But let's just talk about the pricing here. So we've got 35 bucks a month, one application, 50 gig of space. You'd have to have a pretty large site if it's bigger than that. 100 gig bandwidth and our 30,000 visitors per month. And it's this stuff I want to talk about here, the additional charges. Now this is if you go over your plan amounts here. So $1 per 10 gig additional bandwidth, $1 per 1,000 additional visitors, and $2 for a gig of additional disk space. So on the example, real world example I was talking about earlier, we didn't actually go over the additional bandwidth because we didn't reach the 100 gig mark there. With the extra visitors, we only went a little bit over that because we've already got 30,000, and mostly if there was no promo that month, that would be like, I don't know, 2,000 at most. And the promo, there was about 30 odd thousand. So at most we were paying like, $2 or $3 for our completely upscaled for that one day, and maybe, a day or so after. we were paying like $2 or $3, $4 or something for the entire process, which is just insane, because that would cost you, upwards of $800 a month for a dedicated server that could handle that ad hoc style. So anyway, let's choose this plan, confirm the plan. It's going to ask us for our application details. So we're creating a WordPress site here, and it's going to be my Epic site. We'll have it in London because that's the closest to our stuff, and we'll just get WordPress as our install option. Okay, so it's installing the app now, and it's going to take about 3 minutes, as you can see there. So I'll be right back when it's finished. Right, there we go. We are installed now, and if we click on that, we get our application dashboard. Completely different to the regular Cloudways flexible apps, and quite slimmed down, because you've got to remember virtually everything is done for you on these autonomous apps. It's literally fire and forget. Amazing. So quick look at our Epic site, just a vanilla install of WordPress. Cool. Let's have a little tour of this dashboard, although I would say at this point, skip to almost the end of this tutorial. You don't really need to do anything. Just either migrate your site or build a site here. So anyway, let's just have a little quick look. So we've got like quick settings, quick links to stuff, your site name and all that kind of jazz. Staging. Did I tell you about staging? Free staging with every app. So you can make a copy, test stuff out, check everything's working, and then you can push that all automatically to the live site, or just migrate it again manually. Either way, doesn't matter. You've got a development environment built in to Autonomous. Fantastic. Then you've got some sort of regular stats and stuff. Obviously, we've got nothing going on there at the moment. Let's jump to our performance tab, and this is where the magic happens without you doing anything. So let's get into this. These two caching items here. Object Cache Pro. Now, if you don't know what Object Cache is, a very quick explanation. So effectively, Object Cache does is it stores database queries that have been made against the site. So, someone does a search for a page, or there's a page that displays a category of posts. That's all database queries. When the user hits that page, they're sending a request. Now, Object Cache stores that in the memory server side. You kind of got to compare it to, say, a cocktail bar person, some super hot cocktail bar person that knows all the cocktails automatically from his memory. He's stored those cocktails in his memory. They're cached in his mind. So he's going to be way quicker than the other cocktail person that's got to go look up the recipe from a cocktail book. You know what I mean? And by the way, Object Cache Pro is a pro paid for plugin that you can put into any WordPress website, pretty much. And just for your information, that little puppy is £95 a month. And I tell you what, it is killer for large traffic sites. It's almost essential. And it's free, not £95 a month. Next up, we've got full page caching from Cloudflare, a CDN, content delivery network, which again is essential for global online businesses. And just a recap of what a CDN is, and Cloudflare is the market leader in this space, by the way. It's also free with Autonomous. A CDN basically is a network of service where they take the files and all the assets of your website and plonk them on servers all around the world. Let me just give you a little tour of the world here. This is Cloudflare's CDN network. So you kind of catch my drift. If I'm in London and I've got someone over on the west coast, on the east coast, I should say, of Australia, check it out. They're not hitting my server over here. They're hitting a server maybe a few miles away, or 100 miles away. It's absolutely essential for global online businesses. And again, by the way, it's free. It's a pro version, and this essential tool is free with Autonomous. Okay, let's crack on. Workflows and tools, right, well, we've got backups and restore process. So once a day, all your files and databases backed up. Oh, and just forgot about a couple more things about Cloudflare at CDN. Look at all these features here. Okay, so CDN, Web Application Firewall, image optimization. It's going to serve your images at those locations in the most compressed and efficient web formats. It's insane. I mean, too many features to mention. But anyway, back to our dashboard. So backup and restore, fairly obvious, and you can restore just the database or certain files and that kind of thing. PHP settings, if you want to muck around with those. WordPress is fully up to date with the latest PHP, so just leave that as is, but you can do other things like change your various PHP settings there. Staging management. So if you've got staging set up, that's where you'll see your staging and you can launch it from here, same as the overview page. Intelligence, well, that's just basically where you can see the logs, server logs, error logs, etc. of your site. Then you've just got your manage access, which basically gives you your initial SFTP access, and you can also add additional SFTP accounts and you can use those for SSH as well. Then we've got domain management. So, you can see that our current URL is this Cloudways temporary URL there. So when you've got your site ready to go, you pop your domain in there, click add, and then it whizzes through all your files and database and changes any reference to the temporary domain to your real domain. So it just kind of works. Very special. And until you get your actual real domain on there, the main features don't come into play. Last up, we've got our database access, which is essentially just a way of accessing the database in this online interface. But also, if you want to connect it remotely, you've got all your deets there and you can password protect it, which is cool as well. And last up is the view credentials, which is basically the WP admin login for the new site. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just about it. I mean, I told you it was a cinch. And it is. So you can build your new site here or migrate an existing site or a dev server build from somewhere else into here, sort the domain out, and away you go. And you literally will never, ever have to worry about your website falling over ever again. It really is hosting that saves your bacon. And as you saw earlier, currently on a 30% discount for 4 months. So link is in the description below. Grab that while you can. And let's just have a quick recap of those core features. So yes, it accommodates concurrent users without losing speed. Throw as many users as your site as you want. You're always prepared for sudden traffic surges. You don't have to monitor your website. You get that security through Cloudflare and at scale. And of course, and it's really predictable pricing, with those additional fees being ridiculously cheap for the sort of service you get when it has to scale up autonomously. So just another couple of bits on Cloudways in general. They are my favorite host. Just generally across the board, because there's the flexible apps as well, which is what I use mostly. The performance is just off the scale. The varnish cache and the object cache, which is on regular Cloudways flexible as well, is just phenomenal. If you're not getting 95 score on page speed insights for performance, give me a shout. The general features of Cloudways literally can't be beaten from my experience. And of course, the big one, pricing. Well, it's just super competitive, and trust me, I've been through pretty much all of them. Last but by no means least, the support is off the chart. 24/7. Response time is minutes, if not seconds. So it's like having your own IT team on your side 24/7 with your web projects. Anyway, Cloudways Autonomous. Highly recommended. Save my bacon. Grab yourself a 30% discount off your first 4 months. Link is in the description. But until next time, I shall see you later.